So, welcome to this webinar. We're going to give you a live demonstration of our new functions in our product finder. I'm Cassandra Julin. I work at TCO Development, the organization behind the global sustainability certification TCO Certified. The agenda for today is that we're going to start with a brief introduction of TCO Certified for those of you who are new to us. We have Victor Wennerström, a certification manager in the certification team, who's going to give you a live run-through of the product finder and tell you a little bit about its function and benefits. And we have Claire Hobby, Purchase Engagement Director, with us, who's going to join the discussion and conversation, also giving the purchaser perspective in the whole discussion. So without further ado, let's start the webinar. TCO Certified is a global sustainability certification for IT products. We've been around for 25 plus years. We have social and environmental criteria. We cover today 11 product categories. So that means office IT products such as monitors, laptops, all-in-one, PCs, but also smartphones, tablets, and headsets. Now we also cover data center products, and that means servers, networking equipments, and so on. We have up-to-date and relevant criteria, and we make sure we do this by updating our criteria every 3 years to meet the current sustainability challenges. One of the things that makes us the certification we are today is the independent verification, which we think is really one of the keys of TCO Certified. It means we have pre and post certification verification of all the criteria. The verification covers both products and factories, and we have a system for dealing with non-compliance as well, to taking care of things that we find in the audits. If you look at what our criteria includes, it covers the full product life cycle. So it covers the manufacturing phase, the use and reuse phase, and the recovery phase. If you're interested to know more about TCO Certified and our criteria, you're going to get all the contact details in the end. So we welcome you to get a meeting with one of our purchaser specialists. So starting the conversation we're here to have today, I want to start by asking Claire, one of the things that has driven the fact that we are extending our product finder with this new function is that a lot of purchasers feel the need to talk about sustainability and to talk about the work that they do. So one of the things that come up on the agenda and that comes up in the conversation is the sustainable performance indicators, that you can call them, or the kind of sustainability measures that you can have. What's your take from the purchaser community regarding this, and what have you heard when you have been out there talking to them?
Yeah, thanks, Cassandra, and hi, everyone. Absolutely. I think this is one of the major challenges that purchasing organizations have today. You know, we've moved from if you do sustainable purchasing to more how you do it, right? I think most organizations realize that sustainability is part of good business these days. And I think when it comes to IT products, you can make more sustainable choices by using TCO Certified as an example. But then when you have sustainability requirements or goals set upon you as a purchasing organization or as a category manager, you have to show return on that investment. You have to show, what are the actual sustainability impacts of that hardware choice, and how can we measure that? And then further along, how can we integrate those findings in a way that makes sense to our business bottom line, but also to our broader sustainability targets as an organization?
It sounds like quite a challenge. It will be interesting
Absolutely.
to hear from you, Victor, now as well. At TCO Certified, we have developed some sustainability performance indicators, or some measures that we are going to share with you today. So without further ado, why don't, Victor, you show us what functions we have launched now in the product finder, and talk a little bit about how they can be used.
Yes, all right. Hello, everyone. name's Victor, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what TCO Certified Product Finder is and look a little bit into these new features. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Yes. And I think that, yeah, all right.
Yes, you're on.
Good. Yeah, first off, so what is TCO Certified Product Finder? Well, the Product Finder is the place where you will find all the products that are certified according to TCO Certified. So, and where will you find it then? If you go into tcocertified.com, then you will find the Product Finder up in the right corner over here. So we can just click on that, and the TCO Certified website is available in 3 different languages, in .com, English, in German, .de, and in Swedish, .se. So the product finder is now available in all those 3 languages, and there's still some translation needed for the German one, so some bits might be in English still, but the goal is that they're all going to be translated individually as well. So let's take a look at the product finder. So we've been working the last couple of months on adding some new features to the product finder and some new filters and new data. And so if you have any questions, as we go along, just use the chat function in the GoToWebinar, and we'll try to answer them at the end.
Thank you, Victor. That's great that you clarified that. As he mentioned, please do get your questions along both to Victor and to Claire, and we will do our best to address them and start the discussion with you.
Yeah. So the starting page of the product finder, you are offered basically 2 main choices. You have either the direct search, which if you start typing something, it will automatically bring up suggestions. So if you're looking for, let's say, displays, then you'll get all the products which has monitor in the name. You could type a specific model of some product that you're looking for. You're looking for, yeah, let's say this Dell U2412. It automatically brings you the suggestions and highlights what you have searched, and also gives you other close proximity choices. And if you click on any one of these, you will get straight into that product, and we will go into more into depth in the product card in just a bit. Besides this direct search feature, you can also search if you are a purchaser and you have our certificate number available and want to find it through that. You can just enter the certificate number and also find the product straight away. So I think I have a certificate number here, and if I just press enter, I'm immediately transferred to that certificate or that product card. So like I said, if from the start here of the product finder, you have a couple of choices just to narrow down the filtering of the products you are looking for. So let's say that we pick a notebook, then we go into basically the main search window where we have where most of our new features are located. You can see that some of these features have a padlock on them, and that requires you to log in order to use these features. And also we have some new filters on the left side here, which makes it's so we're taking a little bit more of the approach of like a more typical product database where you could filter based on product characteristics, such as the resolution and the size of the products you're looking for, etc. So some of those filters are included here now. We might expand those in the future, but currently, and these differ for different product categories as well. But for notebooks, we have the percentage of recycled post-consumer plastics, which you can move the slider up, and if you're looking for some product that, okay, I need at least let's say 20% post-consumer recycled plastics, then you will automatically filter that out. And then we also have this filter called latest generation, and just to clarify that this currently means TCO Certified Generation 8. So if you explicitly are looking for only the latest generation, the TCO Certified Generation 8, then that's the box you should tick. And I think that we should, yeah, we're gonna log in now. So in order to create this account, you could either use any of the, if you click on one of the padlocks, you get the option to log in or create an account. So just creating an account, there's no fees or connected to it. You just set up your account and then you can log in. So no hassle. You enter your name and email and password and country, and then you're basically in. But I'm gonna log in here just to show you. So I already have set up an account, and once you're logged in, you have your page where you can see your registration and also update if you have anything you need to update. You can also access my account from this top right box, and you also have the option to log out. All right, so let's go back to the product finder and look a little bit more about these new functions. So first of all, if we click on one of these, you are brought into the product card that we call it in, I don't know, in official term, that that contains all the information regarding that product. So here you have the brand name, the sales name or marketing name, model name, and now you see that there are some new fields here compared to when you were not logged in. So now you also have the energy consumption, the percentage recycled plastics, and the weight, the battery minimum cycles, and there might be some other data as well, depending on what product category you have chosen. And yeah, I think I forgot to say that. So now as well, with every search you make, you now have the possibility to create links to these filters and searches. So if you have done any sorting of some kind, and maybe you want to search for something, yeah, then you just press the share results, and your URL will be copied, and if you send this to somebody, they will get the exact same results. So it's easy to share a specific section of products, for example. And this also works in each product card, where you just press share and you will get a link to that. Yes, all right, and then we can look a little bit into these SPIs that we talked about a little bit in the beginning. So what we have here is we have the yearly energy consumption, which is the measured values through the verification process in TCO Certified. So these products have all been tested, and these numbers are from our from the testing process from our verification partners, and the yearly energy consumption or ETEC value is the typical annual energy consumption of a product based on the Energy Star calculations for how long or what type of usage pattern a specific product category has. So how long is it in on mode, in sleep mode, in off mode, and then throughout the year you get you can use that ratio in order to calculate an estimated yearly energy consumption of a product. And then we have the percentage recycled plastic, which pretty much straightforward, tells you how large portion of the plastic in the product is post-consumer recycled. And if that's important to you, then you can use that as a filter option to find the products which have the highest amount of recycled plastic in order to reduce your environmental impact regarding virgin plastics. And then we have the total weight as well, that can be used as a measure for large amounts. If you have large volumes, you can use the total weight as a guideline for what type of e-waste is our organization contributing with. So you could use that as well. And then yes, and then we have a new feature called Compare, where you're able to select one product and compare it to up to two other products. So if we're now looking at notebooks, for example, and I'm just gonna pick a couple of ones from the list here. You select up to 3 and compare, and then you get a side-by-side comparison, and then you can see what the differences are, if they're higher or lower in post-consumer or in weight. And if you want to do some calculations on this, you could also export this information to Excel, and then you will get all the information. And then we're going to take a look at this, the calculate emission and costs of products. So what we've done here is that we've created a little tool that gives you an estimated cost of use based on the energy consumption of the product, and also a estimated carbon emission of that energy usage. So for that product, that product's energy use, what carbon emissions are related to the use. And this is then divided up on what country you're located in, because it takes into consideration the energy mix of that country. So for example, let's say I'm located in Sweden, and then you get automatically filled in values for the price per kilowatt and the grams of carbon emissions per kilowatt for that energy. So these numbers you can change yourself if you know that you have other values. If you have a lower price, for example, you could fill them in yourself and get other numbers, but these are based on the International Energy Association, their reportings on the average for these different countries. And then you can select the number of products you want to do this calculation for. So let's say that I'm looking into maybe buying 500 products, and I want to see, okay, what would the different effects be from these different products. So then you get the yearly energy cost and the yearly carbon emissions over here, and yeah, then you can see, okay, so this one obviously it has a higher typical energy consumption, and then that results in a higher costs for those 500 products, and also a higher carbon emission. So, and if we were to, you know, switch this, let's say that I use this in the US instead, then, you know, they have a different energy mix, and that mix in turn contributes to a high, in this case, a higher value of carbon emission per kilowatt hour. So then we get different numbers. So you could use it locally in order to find out what this product actually affects for you, not just generally, but in your location. Yes, and like I said, yeah, you can export. You can also export over here and compare and do the filters as well. So I think that that's basically most of the new functions right now. We're also working. I'm not sure if it's going to be released today or otherwise sometime this week. We have also made an XML file which contains all the basically the product finder, all the products in a way that's easy to use for computers. So if you're a distributor or a e-tailer and you want to match your product with the certified product in the TCO Certified product finder, then this new file will make it easier for you to do that. So that's going to be available very soon. We will make an announcement when we have done that. And also, so what we're working on as well next is that we are, with this new logged in feature, we're going to be able to make more customized features for each user. So what's closest in time is that we're going to set up a subscription service where you can subscribe to new certified products. So let's say that you want to know, okay, I want to be aware of the new TCO certified notebooks. Then you can set up that subscription and get the notification whenever new products are published. So yes, I think that's it. That's a lot of
Thank you,
information.
Victor.
Just
Yes, it's
going
a lot
up.
of information. I think that's an important point as well. We touched upon it at the start. With the subscription and all the other functions that we have in the new product finder, it's important to clarify that it's all free of charge. This is something we offer to drive sustainability. So we want you to use this data. We want you to log on, and we want you to compare so that you can make more sustainable choices. And there are no charges attached. We have our first question coming in as well. This is for you, Victor.
Yeah.
It's a question about carbon emission, and what we have in the product finder is relating to the user phase, and the question relates to that there are bigger carbon footprints when it comes to IT products. Is this something we're looking at in the future also to include other measurables, or what's the plan for the product finder in terms of extensions?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I completely agree. I mean, the use phase is generally very small in comparison to the manufacturing phase, but so far, you know, doing LCAs is a very costly endeavor, and there are some new tools which are you know, doing a quite okay way of estimating the whole product carbon emission in the life cycle. And we are for the next generation of TCO Certified Generation 9, we are looking into if we can possibly standardize the way that some of these results are both reported and how they are calculated. So there are a few tools out there, but right now it's there are no clear guidelines exactly on how should this data be entered. So there's so much variation that unless you make it very clear what the specification is, then the results can vary so much that it doesn't really give anything in terms of comparison or comparability. So
Yes, thank you. And I think also relating to this, a follow-up question for you again, Victor. There are a lot of other measurables or sustainability performance indicators out there floating around. How would you say that we have worked differently with this approach, and what would you say is the strength with the numbers that you have produced in the product finders? Are they reliable? Can we trust them? What's the method behind these?
yeah, thank you. So yeah, like you said, there are quite a few tools for doing estimations of product impact from this certification or that certification, and it's always a very tricky thing to do, especially when you know every label or some other kind of certification, they want to put their stamp on it and say, look, by using us, you save this much, you are this much better than all the other products. But the one thing that's usually lacking is, okay, but what are the other products? What actually are the other products? And that is something that's really hard to do. And if you do it, you have to be very clear on what is your assumption of this average product, this other product that is not yours. So I think that what we have done instead is that we have made the tool so that you as a user calculate your own use, and then you put that in comparison to another product. It's not that by using this product you save I don't know, X amount of carbon emissions compared to non-TCO certified products. I mean, that's we don't have the data for that, so that's why we haven't presented anything like that. So we give a tool based on the measured values that we have from the certification process of the energy consumption, and then we can make a tool on the and give a number for the use phase of that product.
Thank you. No, that clarifies a little bit between and helps I guess the purchaser. Claire, do you want to jump in on that also from the purchaser perspective? What have you heard out there? What's the conversation going on with your colleagues out there?
Yeah, I think the idea of not only setting really smart, ambitious criteria, that's definitely one side of the conversation, and it's very important. But we're seeing more and more that there's a burden of proof, right? So, and oftentimes that need to verify and show evidence of criteria fulfillment falls upon the purchasing or the contracting entity. We see that particularly in the European Union right now. We're seeing it also starting to come into play in North America as well, that people are looking for more verification and more proof. So I think it's incredibly important to be able to back up any metrics, any claims that are connected to any system that a purchaser would use to make more sustainable choices. I have a question for Victor, if I may.
Yes.
Super practical question. But I'm wondering, for a purchaser that would log into the product finder, maybe do a 3-product comparison as you demonstrated. For now, their way to save that search is to export the results, or are they able to save that search through their login right now? What's your advice there?
No, for now they can export it to Excel, but that's we're looking into how can we now expand these logged in functionality and save both like I mentioned, subscriptions and set up your feeds of the information that you are looking for, and possibly also this save the comparisons which you have made if that's something that's interesting.
Yeah, because I can imagine that someone may do a comparison now and they might come back to the same comparison in a year's time, or I think there's a value there to come back to that comparison. So that's good advice. Yeah. I had another question. The product weight, indicator. Just to clarify, that is without packaging, without accessories. How are we defining product weight?
Yeah, it's the product and the power supply, and not the packaging of the product. So it's
Okay,
that's how it's defined.
thanks.
So we have a question as well coming in, technical for you again, Victor, mentioning that there are the ISO standards in place that many producers are already aligned with. How do the product finder compare with like existing standards out there?
Let me see this question.
Can it
there.
be linked in any way to existing standards, our current product finder?
Well, so I think, I mean, even most product product carbon footprints, they're usually predefined. You know, they say that, okay, this product is manufactured here, and then it's going to be used for 3 years or 4 years, and then it's disposed, and then you get the number of that. But then again, that's not always exactly how the product's life looks like, and that's not something that we really, I mean, we want the products to live as long as possible, and a lot of these life cycle analysis are based on very short product lives, especially when it comes to notebooks, for example. So I mean, we don't have the answer today. Like I said, we're looking into this for generation 9, and have some good good ideas of where we want to take this. But I know, for example, that a lot of big brands like HP and Dell and Lenovo use a tool called Product Attribute Impact Algorithm, PAIA. And I mean, it's an awesome tool. It really is, and it makes it very easy to get a quick estimate of that product's carbon footprint. But as of now, there really are areas to improve in order to, you know, make results somewhat comparable, and put some guidelines down in order to make sure that all the products are handled the same way, with the same amount. I mean, there are cases where there are just default data that is used instead, and then there are cases when you can use product specific data, and obviously those will yield very different results. So in order to make it actually useful, you need to have some guidelines for okay, this is the minimum level, this is what you have to actually enter in order for us to get a value that's good enough to use, I think.
Thank you for that clarification. Claire, moving back to you and the purchaser community that you work with, how do you think the product finder will be received out there now when you're going to start talking about it when you go out there? What benefits do you think they'll see from this? And yeah, how do you see that this can be used going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great tool, and we've got a lot of purchasers who use TCO Certified because of this combination of criteria. Now we've added this ability for them to really measure some very concrete effects. You know, when you're having this conversation with a lot of contracting organizations, one of the first things that comes up is energy, right? So being able to get a very accurate depiction and measurement of consumption here, I think, is really important, because it's a very easy metric to communicate throughout the organization as well. And I think it's one of the first that organizations look to manage effectively. So I'm excited about that. I'm also kind of excited about something like post-consumer recycled plastic, right? So everybody wants recycled content. It's also a really tangible concept that people can we can get our heads around it, right? But I think when we're moving towards more circular thinking too, you know, how do we keep the materials and these products in use, in circulation in the marketplace longer? And that's one place to start. I think it also gives a window into using some materials again and again is really complex. It's not as easy as we'd like to think it is. So this gives a little bit of a window into what's actually going on. And I think it's really important now that purchasers go in and explore this tool and really help that process, or take that process and help that inform what you talk to industry about, right? Ask them about recycled content, ask them what they're doing on energy efficiency, for example. So it's a really great tool to help inform the dialogue that you have with your vendors as well.
Yeah.
One of the big functions that are coming up, Victor, that you highlighted earlier, that I think is interesting also from a purchaser perspective, is the subscription function. So why don't we take a few minutes to highlight that again? So as a purchaser, if I'm interested, or if I have a tender or procurement coming up in 6 months' time or a year, and I want to know what's going on in notebooks, or I want to know how is the CO2 emission changing, what's going on with new products. Can you tell me a little bit more about the benefits of that function again, and how it can be used from a purchaser perspective?
Yeah. Like I said, it's still in development, so lots of things can always change. But anyway, the idea is that just like at least here in Sweden, you can set up if you're at this you're looking to buy a product that fits your specifications, and you want to set up this notification that okay, when something matches this, either if it's on price or whatever, then give me a notification. So it's basically that type of service, because we know in some product categories we've heard from purchasers who are saying that okay, we wish there were more brands in order for us to use TCO Certified in a procurement. Let's say it has to be X amount of brands, and then you could set up a feed for that, and an alert of, oh, now there's another brand. Oh, great! Now we can include TCO Certified as a requirement for our purchase. So
and when can we expect this time-wise? What's
so
your timeline for developing this?
Timeline, it's I think sometime during summer, at least before autumn, at least. So I think sometime before summer.
Great.
Or during summer.
So I really look forward to that. Rounding up, we've taken some of your time. I just wanted to highlight as well, we have a full team out there ready to help purchasers. We got a global reach, so there will be someone that will be able to talk to you in your market. Feel free to reach out to Claire's colleagues if you have any questions about sustainable procurement or sustainable IT products. I also want to highlight that you can get a 15-minute meeting with one of Claire's team through an easy click. So this link is going to be shared in the follow-up email from this webinar. And we hope if you have any questions, reach out to us either through email, book a 15-minute meeting. We're here to help and to answer your questions. So any last remarks from you, Claire, or from Victor?
Go try it out. Go take a look. Go find your way around. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Anyone in my team, we're happy to walk it through with you.
Yeah, and if you have any issues or suggestions for the product finder, just reach out to me as well, and we will see what we can do.
Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed this webinar. I hope you enjoyed the new functions in the product finder. Stay tuned. We are going to be talking a lot more about sustainable performance indicators moving forward this spring and autumn. So log on or make sure you register for our newsletter as well. You can register on tcocertified.com to make sure you get the latest news and updates. Thank you, and wishing you a nice rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.